What the fuck is up? Sorry, I'm feeling a little manic today. All right, let me recalibrate. Woo-sa, Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. All right, we got a pretty good show lined up today. A lot of stuff happened in the sports world, so it's not just all football today. There's still a lot of football, but we got some basketball, some MLB, all that kind of shit lined up for you. And we didn't get to the Jersey War today because, like I said, there was just a lot happening. So we're gonna get to that on Sunday's show, I promise, as you'll hear us talk about in today's episode. But pretty much. Actually, before we start here, I just want to, take a second and thank everybody for listening. The support has been pretty overwhelming. I didn't expect it to be like this right out of the gate, and I think I can speak for my cohorts when I say they didn't expect it either. So we appreciate everyone listening, and thanks for your support. All right, that's enough sentimental, emotional shit. Let's start the show. All right, welcome to this week's episode of Stone Sports. I am your host, Bert, a.k.a. Bert Spacklin, MD. With me, I have my co-host, Double. Say what up, Dubs.
The fuck is up?
And my other co-host, Meech. Say what up, Meech.
What up?
One of these days, I promise I'll stop referring to you as the other co-host. It just happens in my brain. I don't mean
The
anything by it.
other co-host.
That's how I think of him anyway. So
Hey, we're not dragging him this week. It's not happening.
all right.
So normally I'd probably have some bullshit, nonsense food related question for you to open the show, but there's a lot to talk about today. So let's just get to the sports. And at the top of the docket, as they say, we've got a bunch of MLB news. So Meech, why don't you update us on what's been happening in the MLB?
Yeah, Kim Ng was hired as the first female GM of any of the major four sports by the Marlins. She previously worked as assistant GM for the Dodgers and Yankees for about 10 years. Actually, for about 15 years, because she was with the Dodgers for like 9 years. And she was assistant GM with both those teams, so she will now be the GM of the Marlins.
Which is dope.
Yeah, no, it's a big barrier to be broken.
Yeah, it's awesome.
First
Super
GM
awesome.
in any of the four major sports, so pretty big deal.
She
Yeah.
looks like a grade A badass. She looks
Yeah.
like she doesn't take any shit.
Yeah.
And everything I've seen, like on social media and everything, has been praised. Like she's deserved this position for a while. She's finally going to get her chance. And the Marlins are now their three highest ranking officials are Derek Jeter and two women. So look at the Marlins being progressive.
Yeah, it's dope. I was actually talking to somebody recently, which I've probably said so many times on the show, but I was actually talking to somebody recently about, how come professional sports aren't integrated between men and women. And somebody brought up the point that probably the easiest way to break through that barrier would be to have a woman run a team first, and then the rest of the bricks will kind of fall. So that's just super dope, I think, to see that. It's like, hell yeah, we're moving in the right direction, dude.
Talk about someone we're moving in the wrong direction. Robinson Cano, my boy, your boy, Birdie.
All right,
Cano.
all right, here we go. I knew it was going to happen eventually. Look, I don't have, what am I supposed to say?
I don't know, but
You
he's a
know?
dumbass because he
Yeah.
got suspended 50 games with the Mariners, and
80.
now a full season.
Wasn't it 80?
It was 80. It was 80.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
the 80, 160. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. The upped ones.
Yeah.
So, this guy's lost out on probably $40 to $45 million just on PED suspensions after he already got paid. He's on
Right.
that massive contract already.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
I don't know, dude. And it's so funny because when you guys texted me this earlier, I was like, what? And I went and read about it. And at first I got I don't what do you I got massively sad for 5 seconds. And then I realized what was happening is like the sports gods had giveth, and now they were, take a thing away. They gave me the number one overall pick with the New York Rangers and Alexis Lafreniere, and now they're doing this to kind of level me out and be like, all right, bitch, don't get too excited. So, like, I don't know. Like, I don't have too much to say, but he's a fucking idiot.
Can you ever get too excited with the Mets and the Rangers?
Hey, it hasn't been that long since we were in a Stanley Cup. Now, yes, that Stanley Cup did go exactly like the 15 World Series, but yeah, no, okay, you're right. I can't ever get too excited. Fuck you, Double.
Moving on. Angels also hired a GM, Perry Manzian. I don't think I'm saying that right.
I'm not going to do any better, so.
Yeah, it's,
Perry.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's call him Perry. Yeah, we're going with Perry.
Perry. So he was formerly a Braves assistant GM, and he was also under Anthopoulos, the current Braves GM, when he was back in Toronto. So he's been associated with Anthopoulos for a while. He will now go to the Angels, and I believe his big thing is scouting and player development. So that should be good to restock one of the worst farm systems in the majors the last few years.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good move.
The only other thing is, did you have anything on that, Dubs?
No, I was going to move on to the Jets, or not the Jets. They suck too. But the Mets potentially hiring a GM, and that is Mike Chernoff, the current GM of the Indians.
Yeah, that's supposedly the favorite. Like yesterday I was like hanging out with my pops and we were just watching, ESPN and shit, and you see the ticker, it's like, Epstein steps down or whatever. My dad's like, well, maybe they'll interview him. I was like, no way, dude. And then today an article comes out that says like he literally went on record and said, I have no interest in going to the Mets.
Yeah.
So
he said he had no interest in the Mets and none in the Phillies, and apparently reports of friends close to him say that he wants to go up a notch and work from owning a team, which would be I mean I don't know how much money the guy's made.
I'm here for it.
Owner stake he has, but yeah, he won me 2 championships. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. Guy. Go get the bag, bro. Go get the bag. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chernoff's definitely the favorite, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it definitely wouldn't be Epstein because he would be under Sandy Alderson because he's the president of baseball ops, and that's been Epstein's position with both the Red Sox and the Cubs. So
Theo doesn't
do that.
Theo's his own boss. He doesn't do
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, he decides who does what. But he does resign after 9 years with the Cubs. He ended an 80-year-old World Series drought for the Red Sox back in 2004.
86 years, Meech.
86 years. huge drought for you guys, and then you fired him shortly thereafter. So, 108-year drought with the World Series drought with the Cubs. So he's ended 2 major streaks for World Series drought.
He's the best. That's what he does.
And you can say you didn't, but I mean, I believe him and Tito got escorted out after the chicken incident.
No. Epstein left way before that.
Oh, okay.
Epstein left in 2009, I want to say, or 2011, one or the other. But no, Epstein was 2009, Francona was 11. Epstein left on his own accord.
Shortly thereafter.
Yeah, that's not too long.
Yeah.
Oh, but we didn't even have the chicken people then. Or just Beckett.
Lackey too, right? I don't know. My time frame's all messed up.
Me too.
I'm not a Red Sox historian.
Don't soil John Lackey's name. Good guy.
And I'm getting old, so like time in general is like harder to perceive.
Yeah. Anyway, that about sums it up for the Major League Baseball Association.
Okay. All right. So the baseball, as Meech would affectionately
MLBPA.
Call it. The MLBA.
All right. So let's move on to the football section of the show, and I guess we'll start by talking about the Monday night game, which, full disclosure, I didn't watch. So why don't you let me know what happened, boys?
Meech, you want to start us off since you had the right pick and you've been rubbing it in my face all fucking day?
Okay, that's because
just went out on a limb and picked a team.
Okay, but that's because you made a statement to me off air that you were killing me in picks, and then we added up the math and realized that we were even for picks.
Yeah,
So
you're out here
Oh,
calling for a
you're
recount on
even.
my
yeah,
ass.
yeah, sure as fuck was. Anyway, being right, my Vikings did win. Not my. If I had to
Yeah, I was
lower
gonna
Vikings,
say, wait, you're a Vikings
Jesus.
fan?
Yeah, the Vikes. No, no, but they did what I thought they would do. They did, why I picked them, which is basically ride Dalvin Cook. I mean, Kirk Cousins had some big throws as well, but they ran a ton, and that opens up everything for this offense is the run game. That's exactly what they did. They stuck to the script, and they won their fourth straight. So I mean, they've definitely turned it around. Ironically, after getting rid of some acquisitions that they got, so Yannick Ngakoue gone, and then they start winning. So it's kind of shocking, but four straight, they have a formula, and they stick to that formula, and that's what ended up beating the Bears, whose defense looked good.
Yeah, I mean, Cook had 30 carries and only 96 yards. So if you see Dalvin Cook with 30 carries, you're going to assume he had a little more than 100 yards. But the Bears kept him in check a little bit. Kirk Cousins got his first Monday Night Football win. I told you when I picked the Bears, I don't want to bet on Kirk Cousins in prime time. He finally got one. 1-9 on Monday night. Justin Jefferson had 8 catches for 135. He's looked like the best rookie receiver this year. He is 7th in yards in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a guy you pass up, Eagles. Good job. Good job for that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said before, Kirk's numbers weren't amazing, but the Bears defense did a really good job of holding him in check. So they weren't giving up huge runs that he usually gets. He usually breaks a couple, and that's what ends up in that huge yardage count for him. They were actually keeping him pretty locked down, but they still were just pounding their head against the wall, running the ball, and it still opened up their offense. So even though he didn't have, huge numbers, he did have a huge impact. That Bears offense, though, for hiring an offensive genius, I don't know, man. Nagy just doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, so
yeah.
you got something else to say, Double?
No, I was gonna step on your toes and bring us into the next game, but I'll let you do that. I figure I checked the notes, Birdie. Okay, you can do it.
Okay. I have your permission.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, boss. All right, so let's move to the preview section of the show, the preview, as we called it.
No, we're not doing this again. We're not doing this again, man. Jesus.
All right, so first game on the list is Pittsburgh and Jacksonville. So who are we taking, Dubs?
I got Pittsburgh. They're 9-0 on this season. Jacksonville is 1-8. They've lost 8 straight games. Pittsburgh has 3 players combining for 22 sacks. That is Watt, Dupree, and Stephon Tuitt. They've only allowed 19 points per game, and I just don't think Jake Luton is going to propel the Jags past that defense. So give me Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jet. No, I'm just kidding.
We're going to take Meach to the mental ward.
Yeah, Minshew out again this week. And like you said, the Steelers just are dominating 9-0. That defense looks great. And as we talked about last week, I think the offense is starting to come around, kind of mesh together.
Yeah, did you see that the stat that they have as many wins as your division, Meach? Did you see that? I think they're like 1 win short. Yeah. That's pretty fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty
tough
crazy.
look for the NFC least.
Mr. AFC least over there. I don't know if you can talk too much, but
all right, let's move on. Let's move on to Detroit, Carolina. Who we taking, Meach?
Yeah, Lions, Panthers. CMC's out again this week, so we'll see if Mike Davis goes back to his usage rates before. Maybe see if they use Curtis Samuel in the run game again. But CMC is out again. Bridgewater listed as day-to-day, but believed to avoid a major knee injury. I don't know where to go with this one, man. I don't want to say Panthers because they just have looked like a well-coached team and they don't make a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
But something's telling me the Lions are going to win this week, man. So I got to take the Lions.
Interesting.
I'm going to double down on that one with you, Meach. I'm taking the Lions as well. They've won 3 of their last 5. Carolina's lost their last 5. Teddy Bridgewater is questionable. probably not going to play from what I'm reading. So it's either going to be Will Greer or PJ Walker down there in Carolina taking on Detroit. Either way, it's still not going to, it's still a pretty favorable matchup if you look at it, because Detroit is allowing 360 yards a game. It might be 310. Can't read the writing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 360 is what I'm going with, Alex.
R.I.P.
What is 360 would be the correct way to phrase
What is 360? R.I.P. Alex.
R.I.P. Alex. All right, so next we have New England and Houston Texans. Who we taking double?
Is this a question? We're going to take the New England Patriots. We absolutely own the Houston Texans. Anytime we play them, we make them our bitch. They finally got rid of little fucking Billy O'Stooge down there, Billy O'Brien. Finally, he's out, and they haven't even rebounded after that. Damian Harris has 3 100-yard games. He's rejuvenated this New England run game. We saw it against the Ravens last week. Houston is, let me check the stats here. Houston allowed 200 yards rushing last week to Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in a loss to the Browns. They're 26th against the pass, and I think the Pats are going to run all over them, and they won't even need to pass.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Pats are going to win. They beat them normally, even when the Texans are good, and they're definitely not that this year. You know, the Patriots aren't good, but they're going to get get a couple games here. I think
We're turning it
back
around.
to back.
If we only lose like one more game, who knows? Might slip in the playoffs. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, that's usually the barometer after beating the Jets. That gives teams
No,
confidence.
sir, we just beat the Ravens. I'm riding the high off
You
that.
did beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, we looked past the Jets and still beat their sorry ass.
Yeah, still beat them. Yeah, that should have. People penciled you in for a fucking win against that. Then they made it.
And we
close.
got the win.
Yeah, I know, but barely.
Big kick, Nick. We're good.
Anyway, yeah, Pats are gonna win that one, man.
All right. So now we've got.
I did have Texans did announce that Jack Easterby would not be their GM for the next season. He's their president. They announced that he will not be the GM, so they're looking at a new GM and a new coach. Probably. They did say that they were looking at Romeo Crennel, but he's already been a coach once, and I don't think that's a great move. You know, you got to restart, I think.
Still won't have a new QB, though. Poor Deshaun Watson. He's doomed to spend all of eternity rotting away in Houston. All right, Birdie, now we can move on.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate the permission. All right, so next game on the list is Tennessee Tits, the Tennessee Titans, and Baltimore Ravens. Who we taking, Dubs?
Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking them, even though they got ravaged last week by my New England Patriots. Ravens are number 1 in points allowed, forced fumbles, and fumble recoveries. Tennessee, they're coming off some extra rest. I think the only way that they even stay in this game is running it through Derrick Henry. Like I just said, I rattled off some stats there for Baltimore. Those stats I said are going to be a good counter to the Derrick Henry run game. And on the defensive side of the ball, Tennessee has absolutely no pass rush, and that's not what you need to beat Lamar Jackson. You got to keep him on his toes. If he has time back there, he's going to be able to run, pass, do his thing. I got Baltimore. Michela?
Yeah, I'm splitting it again with you. Ravens look to be finally come out of that funk against the Titans. I thought the Titans were a better team than they really were. I don't think they're gonna get past the Ravens this week. Yeah.
All right, moving on. We've got the Eagles versus the Browns. Who we taking, Meech?
Okay, yeah, I think the Browns should win this. I mean, I want to take my Eagles so badly. I just don't think they're gonna pull it out. But of course, the 1 week I don't choose them, they're going to win. But I really do think the Browns will continue their streak. They'll continue on with a win here. Eagles just look bad. They can't convert on third downs. Their offense has no rhythm. And like I said last week, man, people are talking a lot of crap about Carson Wentz, but his receivers have to catch the ball, dude. Like,
Right.
You know, those third down conversions, they look a lot better if, they catch the ball and can move on to a new set of downs. And that's just killing this offense. So I think the Browns are going to win this one as much as I hope against that.
Double?
I'm going to go ahead and agree with you on that one, Meech. I think your Philadelphia Eagles are going to do their best Odell Beckham Jr. impression and get browned all over by the Cleveland Browns. They're going to take a fat dump all over the Eagles' chest. The running game is going to have absolutely no competition. The Eagles are allowing 133 rushing yards a game. Cleveland has the third most runs called per game, and Chubb and Kareem Hunt combined for over 200 yards last week. I think there's absolutely no chance you guys get this win on the road.
Yeah, they look good. That run attack is dangerous when you have both of them together. And like you stated last week, Wayne Gallman ran all over us. I can only imagine what this rush attack is going to do to us, man.
Give me the Steamers.
I like that. I'm going to call them that from now on. All right, moving on. We got ATL and NOLA. Who we taking, Dubs?
I'm going to have to go with the Saints. Despite no Drew Brees and Jameis Winston, they may have a blind person playing quarterback. He got LASIK, but we don't even know if it worked yet. Went through for 67 yards last week. But Kamara is already over 1,000 yards combined through receiving and rushing. He's got more receiving yards this year than he does on the ground. Atlanta's allowing 310 passing yards a game, so Winston has a porous secondary to work with. And Atlanta's coming off the bye last week, but I don't think it's really going to matter. I still got the Saints.
So you don't think that the Drew Brees injury at all is going to affect it? I mean, speaking of, that injury is fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah, collapsed lungs, some broken ribs. And then when I Googled the injury, the first tweet I saw was, Drew Brees unsure if he'll play this week. I was like, I can fucking tell you he's not. He's got a collapsed lung.
And isn't like a broken rib, it's like on each side too, right? Like it's not just on like one side.
He's got like 2 on the left and 3 on the right or some shit.
Well, I mean, as Bert Spacklin, MD, I can tell you that a broken rib is actually not as bad as you'd think. Like it doesn't take like as long to heal as you would think it does. You know,
the kicker in that injury report was the collapsed lung, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never had that happen. I know people that it has happened to, and they said it fucking sucks. Like,
yeah, I mean, plus it's a difference being, you know, a civilian with a broken rib, and you know, getting hit by 300-pound linemen running at you. So it's a pretty serious injury for a quarterback. You know, he said he'd be out for a couple weeks, I think. Peyton's vague about who's starting, but I think it's gonna be, you know, I think we all know it's gonna be Winston. That's who came
gotta
last
be.
week. We might see more.
I'm sure Hill will get in there for a few passes, but I'm pretty certain Jameis Winston is gonna start.
Yeah,
we talked about it last week. We might see more of the $21 million man. That's Taysom Hill's contract. 16 guaranteed, 21 mil overall. So we might see him for maybe like 10 snaps this game instead of, you know, 8. But yeah, no, Jameis Winston is going to be starting, and I'm going to take the Saints here too. The Falcons have won 3 of their last 4 games, but the Saints are one of those teams that's actually pretty solid.
Meech, we disagreed on a lot of things last week. We have agreed on all 6 picks thus far.
I was about to say
if you
that.
want to include the Cardinals from last week.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. Y'all are like, this is not going to mess up the pecking order of picks. Really.
I mean, suicide hotline, like, call it if you need it, but I might kill myself if we get all those wrong.
I mean, part of the thing, this slate of NFL games is not overly impressive. I mean, I think some of these matchups are just bad. I mean, we might be, you know, different on the next one. You want to talk about who you have for the Bengals, the WFC, Washington Football Club?
Yeah, the Washington Football Team.
Yeah, I've got my guy, Joe Burrow. I've got a hoodie of Joe Burrow smoking the cigar after the national championship. Burrow's my fucking dude. He's 9th in the league in passing this year with just under 2,500 yards. The Washington Football Club are averaging 2 turnovers a game, and Cincinnati is allowing 265 passing yards per game, which is 28th in the league. So I'm willing to bet Washington Football Club thinks they can air it out, and they really can't, and they're going to give up a lot of turnovers. However, the one thing I am scared about in taking the Bengals is that Washington has 28 sacks, which ranks in the top 5 in the league.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I'm
crazy.
taking the Bengals as well, but yeah, that's the one part of the Washington Football Club that is formidable. I mean, and it's been good, but then they drafted Chase Young. He's helped. So they're
Matt
definitely...
Ioannidis led their team in sacks last year, and he hasn't even played the season.
Yeah, no, that's been a strength of the Washington Football Team for a while now.
Yeah, club,
Um,
please. Club, please.
I've called him club every other time, but yeah, no, that's definitely a strength, and it's definitely a weakness of the Bengals. Had a seizure there. Sorry.
That's all right, man.
Weakness is speech.
No, he's just
Yeah,
high,
but
man.
Joey-
Don't drag him.
Oh yeah, everyone
But
getting
yeah,
high.
Joey Bats is going to be back with a vengeance next week after facing a tough defense last week against the Steelers. I mean, he's going to go to town on this, and let's hope so because he's my fantasy quarterback. So let's ride him to victory in that one.
I'm gonna go to town.
Go to town.
All right, we're moving past this because this is getting weird. So next game is the Jets and the Chargers. I mean, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the New York Jets are an absolute fucking dumpster fire. There's a clip at the end of the first couple shows that sums up the New York Jets. If Ed Bear cannot pull this one off and beat the New York Jets at home, he's not a real quarterback. He never fucking will be. Give me the Chargers again. This is the if Herbert doesn't win, fuck him. He's dead. Chargers are dead.
Don't talk about my boy like that.
I mean, they might be dead anyway. We've seen what they've done in past weeks. It has not been great. But yeah, I'm picking the Chargers here too. We're just going pick for pick here. Once again, I mean,
Did
the
we
Chargers
just become
aren't good.
best friends?
Wait,
Yep.
Did we just become best friends?
Can we make punk bets?
Why did you let us do that? There's so much blood. But yeah, no, the Chargers are hopefully win here. I mean, I don't know how you could lose to the Jets. Chargers aren't good, but the Jets are real bad. I wonder if Joe Douglas is thinking about not starting Flacco just in case he looks, decent like he has the last few weeks.
More like below Douglas since he's coaching the fucking Jets.
Well, he's not coaching; he's their GM. But he wasn't
Yeah.
the GM that drafted this team, as we know. The Jets
I
replaced.
misspoke.
Yeah, they replaced their GM right after the draft because that's something that's done a lot. You let the guy draft your whole team and then get rid of him. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Flacco is primed to start there, but we'll see. He is not great. We talked about it last week. There's a reason he has gotten moved around and not started everywhere he's been. He'll have a week of decency and then a week of just trash. So we'll see what happens. But I can't see the Chargers losing this. Also, did you guys see Herbert and his haircut?
No.
He looks like Garrett Gilbert.
He looks like a 12-year-old dude.
Hold
He
on,
looks like a
I
12-year-old.
gotta Google it. I
Look
have
it up.
to
You'll be
Google
so
it.
sad. He
I'm
might not be your
Googling
boy anymore, Birdie.
Yeah.
I'm Googling it right now. Hold,
It would have been
please.
really tough if you committed to being a Chargers fan last week, and then this week he cut his hair, because you would have been like, "Fuck, what did I do?" It was like signing on for like a
What the
30-year mortgage. You're just like,
Actual
"Oh fuck,
fuck is happening
just
here.
signed my life away."
Philip Herbert haircut.
Justin
Oh yeah, it's Justin. Why do I keep? Oh right, because of the
Philip Rivers.
No,
maybe?
no, it's a fucking French king or some shit.
Philip. All right.
I'm just showing my big brain. Check out the big brain on Bert. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, you know what he looks like? He looked like, I don't know if you guys had this in your high school. I know Doubles High School was like pretty small, so maybe not. But I don't know about you, Meech, but he looks like the kid who like smokes weed and like listens to fish. You know what I'm talking about?
We had a
Like-
bunch of those.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you are in the Northeast, true. Like, there's
Yeah.
probably mad fish heads everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
a
know, and they
ton.
walk around and, like, they say, like, gnar a lot, and they're like, oh, that song's so crunchy, and, like, shit like that. That's what he fucking looks like, bro. That's fucking, God, I'm glad I didn't commit to Chargers. But we're going to have to talk about that eventually one of these days. Like, we got to figure out what team I'm going to root for now. I don't know yet.
How about Miami? Tua's
That-
look pretty good.
Yeah, okay. I'll think about it. Who you picking in that game, Dubs?
I got Miami. That's why I said you should fucking hop on the Dolphin train. They got 5 straight wins. They're third in takeaways per game in the league with 1.7. However, they are only 22nd against the rush, despite having 1.7 takeaways a game. Denver, though, Gordon, Freeman, and Philip Lindsay only had 11 carries last week, so they're going to have to do a little more than that if they want to utilize that Dolphins weakness. And Drew Lock had 4 picks last week. And the Dolphins,
Oof.
not the Dolphins, excuse me, Denver has the most turnovers per game in the NFL at 2.3. Lock added to that with the 4 picks last week.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It
They
was
give
a-
the
they
ball
had a
up
rough
more
day.
than Washington.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they-
tough to do.
Rough day for them last week, man. And part of the reason why he threw that many interceptions was the no run game, man. They're playing against a pretty decent defensive front with the Raiders, but yeah, I got the Dolphins here too. I'm a big fan of Tua. I'm a big fan of Brian Flores. I think this team looks just so much improved, and like I said, I mean, I think the Dolphins have found their coach going forward. The D looks improved. They look like they play hard, and Tua, that appears to be the right switch. The future, the franchise, get him some reps this year and seriously compete next year.
All right. So moving on, once again, we've got excuse me, I don't know what happened there. I sounded
First
like
got
Jeff
cum in his
Goldblum
throat.
when I said that.
First got cum in his throat.
Maybe just guzzling some buckets. I did sound like Jeff Goldblum there for a second, though. Maybe I should work on my Jeff Goldblum impression. All right. Anyway, next game on the list is Cowboys and Vikings. Who we taking, Meech?
Yeah, I'm going back to my boys, the Vikings. They've now won 4 straight. I think they have their formula. Andy Dalton is coming back off the COVID list, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think the Vikings are going to win here.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Like I said earlier, Justin Jefferson has been phenomenal this season for them. He's 7th in the NFL in receiving with 762 yards. Minnesota averages 102 rushing yards per game behind the NFL's leading rusher in Dalvin Cook, who's just under 1,000 right now. And Dallas allows 5 yards per carry and 157 rushing yards per game. So those two stats right there don't add up. And
Yeah, I mean, Dallas's whole defense is terrible. Their pass defense is terrible. Their defensive front is terrible.
for setting the market on all those players, they
Yeah.
fucking haven't fucking shown up.
No, they have not. They set the market cap on so many different players, and I think everyone, like, I was like, where do they keep finding this money in the cap? Like, where do they get this cap space? Because it seemed like they set the market cap at 3 different positions on defense, and then they just signed Zeke and Amari too. So it's just
Well,
like,
you see, they have Emperor Palpatine at the helm with his loads and loads of oil money stashed on his yachts. So they sort of just pull it out of their ass. But one more stat
they have to stay within the cap, dude. It's not like
Jerry.
baseball.
Not Jerry. Dallas, one more
Jesus.
stat for them. They are only averaging 10 points per game since losing Dak. Shout out my boy Garrett Gilbert.
So Green Bay, Indianapolis. Who we taking, Meech?
This is a tough one, man. This is one. We were doing our picks, and I was writing them down, and I wrote Packers, and then I was like, I honestly think the Colts are going to win this. So I switched it halfway through writing it down. At first, I was going to pick the Packers, but if the Colts can, look like they've looked the past few weeks, they might get the win here because the Packers have not looked overly impressive the last few weeks. We'll see. They get Lazard back this week, so we'll see how that changes their offense. Maybe it'll make it a little bit more potent. And we'll see if they'll get Williams back, I believe, from the COVID list, as Jamal Williams, their other running back, second to Aaron Jones, was on the COVID list last week. He didn't see action, so we'll see if him coming back and Lazard coming back off the IR are going to make a big difference. But I gotta choose the Colts here.
All right, Meech, this is the first pick we're going to differ on here. I'm going to go with the Packers. So this game is going to probably decide the week here. Who's got the more wins?
The edge.
Yeah, the edge.
You too. Go.
All right. Green Bay taking the pick. They since the start of 2019, they are 5-1 against AFC opponents. They are 2-0 this season against AFC opponents. They just beat the Jaguars and they beat the Texans in Week 7. Green Bay is 9th in points per game. Or is that 4th? God damn my writing. They're 4th or 9th in points per game with 28.3. Indianapolis is 1st in yards allowed per game, but I don't know. Like you said, the people coming back for the Packers, I just feel like their offense is going to click this week, and it just seems like a letdown game for the Colts after they had such a comeback last week against the Titans on Thursday night.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, this is one of those games. It's hard to pick a side. I initially wrote down Packers, and even
I just
with
feel
those players coming back,
I just feel Packers deep down in my gut.
Yeah, and you might be right there. I wrote down the Colts because I was like, man, they burned me last week. Watch them burn me again this week.
Gambling.
Gambling.
That's gambling. All right. So last game on the old football list is the Chiefs and the Raiders. So who we taking, Double?
I got Kansas City, and for no other reason other than I don't trust the Raiders in prime time against Pat Mahomes. They've been great this season, and every week they seem to click a little bit more. One more part of their team starts to come together, but I just feel like this is the week that all comes crashing back down, and the Raiders return to earth, and Kansas City is the team to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Meech said it best, like either last week or a couple weeks ago, like, you know, the Chiefs, it's just like throwing chum in the water. The Sharks are coming. It's just a matter of when. Who you picking, Meech?
Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs here. I mean, despite the Raiders beating them earlier in the season, you have 11 Raiders on the COVID list, 9 of them on defense. So that's not the unit you want to go down on the COVID list when you're facing the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to be too much for them to overcome. The Chiefs aren't going to lose again to them. I think they might have overlooked them earlier in the year. They're a good team, but I think the Chiefs might have overlooked them earlier in the year. The Chiefs aren't going to lose again with that offense. And then just 11 Raiders on the COVID list, 9 of which are on defense. That's got to have an impact in the game.
All right. So we went 8-8 last week on our picks, Meech. We each had 8 wins. The only game we're differing on here is the Green Bay Indianapolis game. So
yeah, that's the swing game right there. And I was about to say, I think like for the first time in the years that I've known both of you, you've pretty much wholly agreed on something. It's nice to see the growth. You know, it might be the weed, but you know, whatever it is, let's keep it up because I'm enjoying it.
It's for sure the pod. I'm so high.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've made a lot of mistakes this podcast, and it's because I took a bigger hit than I usually do. And so
that's why we're Stone Sports. It's a title, it's a great name, and it's also an excuse.
Right. Well, and it's also just the truth. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've never thought of it. It's also an excuse. If we ever make T-shirts, we should put that on there or a bumper sticker or something. It's also an excuse. All right, so let's
the excuse.
Can I talk about a high idea I had earlier?
Sure, man, go for it. The floor is yours.
Somehow we should make a shirt that, like, you know how like you look at a board and sometimes you slide, like it'll have something on it that you can slide, and it will uncover one side of the board, like it underneath said sliding piece, it might say yes on one side and no on the other. You slide it back and forth and it reveals one. We got to do that on a shirt, and it's got to say Tua Thrua, and then it's got to say touchdown or interception.
That sounds way too intense. Man, I'm not gonna lie.
I think it was just my high ass explanation that was intense. I think the idea is pretty simple and pretty dumb.
Yeah, simple, sure. Dumb, definitely a dumb one. But I still love you. It's okay. Do I have your permission to move on to the NBA?
Yes.
Thanks, boss.
It's been decided.
All right, so a lot has a lot has happened in the NBA in the last, like, I don't know what, like 24, 48 hours. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess the first thing we should probably talk about is the quote unquote Harden situation. So what are your thoughts on it, Double? Because I have a couple thoughts on it, but I'd like to hear what you think first.
First and foremost, James Harden's a piece of shit.
Oh my God! Coming out of hot, firing shots.
I don't like him. I never had. Big strip club guy. You can check that out. There's stats on that. But he is just forcing his way out of Houston. He forced them to bring him all these contenders. It got rid of, or not contenders, but pieces to be a contender.
To be a contender, right?
Right, and they faltered. They looked bad against the Thunder.
Right, but why do you think they faltered? Round. Do you think that's like solely his responsibility?
It was a flawed offensive system.
Yeah, it's a flawed. Exactly what
it was a flawed offensive system, and every time, I mean, if non-basketball fan like me can look at it and be like, I don't think those two players are going to work together.
It's why Brooklyn is going to fail when KD comes back, because they have two people that need the ball in their hands for anyone to be successful. And
right.
That was the same case with Harden.
Too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing.
Correct. And that's why when people were like, oh, I saw a little bit of rumors this week saying that Harden might go to the Nets. Harden might go to the Nets. Fucking go ahead. That team will implode so fast. You'd have to trade one of them by the deadline.
Yeah, I saw a thing that was, I can't remember who wrote the article, so I would give you a shout out, but I can't remember your name. Sorry. But somebody was saying like maybe he'll go to the Sixers, and I was like, yeah, but they'd have to like get rid of some people because their contract management is absolute dog shit. So like I don't think that's gonna happen either. Like,
Well,
at all.
they did just unload that massive contract of Al Horford.
They did. Yeah, they unloaded
they-
him tonight.
Yeah, they traded
Oh,
him
they
to
did that
Oklahoma
today?
City
Yeah.
for Danny Green
Okay.
right before the draft.
Okay.
And Danny
made that move,
Green
but-
just got moved to OKC and that move for Schroeder. the
Right,
Lakers made.
right. So a lot of movement happening. Just real quick on the Harden situation.
Yeah, man.
I just think he's such a piece of crap. Like you,
I summed it up. He's a
yeah, no,
giant piece of shit.
yeah, you forced this team to mortgage their future. They gave
Yeah,
up
right.
every draft pick they had 2 years in a row to try and do what you wanted to, and now you want out with 2 years left on your contract, and it's just like a mix between the NFL and MLB free agency system and power. I feel
Right.
like is better like than what the NBA is at the moment.
And-
People just have so much power to get out of situations, and it's kind of laughable.
Well, that's an interesting question though, because like I'm torn on that. Like I want the players to get the bag. I don't want them to be like commodities because like I think that's kind of fucked up. But there is maybe
it's
you have a
exactly
point
what they
in
are.
like yeah, but like I don't think that's right. Like they are people, man. Like like they should have willpower to make decisions based on their own career, but I do think you are onto something that maybe they have a little too much power. There is probably a nice middle ground in there somewhere. I don't know. It's just an interesting,
The way
thing. I think
today's
about a lot.
NBA works, they just go like, oh, hey, I want fucking out, and they're not gonna play until you trade them. Like
Right.
they have that
Yeah.
power in the NBA.
And those
Yeah.
are guaranteed contracts, so you're not missing anything in those. I mean,
Right.
Right.
you're not if you're not playing, you're not getting that guaranteed money. But you have that security that the NFL players don't. So I think something like a mix between NFL and MLB would be interesting because
Right.
it would kind of give them, it would give each side kind of a fair shot at free agency, player movement, while also not disheartening your fan base. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing there. But I mean, James Harden has proved he has been a sixth man of the year before in the past with Oklahoma City, with Russell Westbrook and Durant. So it could work, but he has to want it to work. I mean, he has to make the change there,
Exactly.
and it's a change he hasn't made yet. So other than that, I mean, a bunch of trades. Dennis Schroeder is traded to the Lakers. Drew Holiday goes to the Bucks. Chris Paul goes to the Suns. So a lot of movement before the draft today.
Yeah.
a couple
and
people
how-
moving twice too. Danny Green moved to OKC, and then we mentioned earlier got dealt again. Ricky Rubio's gone twice. He went in the Chris Paul trade, and he also got dealt on draft night tonight. So I mean, there's been like you said, a ton of relocation in the last few days.
Yeah, and how about that draft? Why don't you update me on the draft? Because I know you were following it pretty closely today, judging by our Twitter account.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone who knows me personally knows I get my dick out for the draft. No matter what draft it may be. Big draft guy. I'll just run you through the top 10 real quick.
Yeah, that's
and
all I'm really
that's-
interested in because that's like really all that
Anyone-
matters.
Got any questions off of that? I can hopefully answer them for you. But at the top of the draft, we got the Timberwolves. There's a little controversy on who they may select. Number one in the weeks leading up to the draft, that ended up being Anthony Edwards, guard out of Georgia, who I expected them to get, and I think he's going to fit in nicely there with Booker and Towns. Golden State, there's some bad news today for them. Klay Thompson got hurt in a private workout. They don't know how long he's going to be out, but he was going to checked out before the draft started tonight, and they drafted James Weissman, center out of Memphis. He was part of that scandal at Memphis with Penny Hardaway and paying recruits and all that shit. So
Right.
I want to say like 7 games at Memphis, but a lot of people thought he was going to be the number one pick without a doubt at the start of the season, and for the Warriors to get him, and I mean they're the Warriors, that's a steal.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too because I think right before the draft, Clay announced a leg injury,
Yeah,
and so it was
right.
kind of up in the air as to that might derail their
When
plans or not. So we'll see
I
what's
put
up.
that on the Twitter today at Stoned Pod. LaMelo Ball, I thought could have been on the radar for the Warriors after that Klay Thompson injury. Maybe plug him in and play him for a year, then potentially move him if the next season if Klay was back. But that didn't happen. He slipped to the third pick, and Michael Jordan was able to scoop him up for the Hornets at number 3. So I hope we get some banter between Michael Jordan and LeVar Ball. Maybe we get
Well,
that
you know,
one on.
LeVar
Maybe
can
we
beat him on
get
a 1v1 game.
exactly. Maybe we get that one-on-one game. Maybe even a little horse. That'd be great. But
It would be
LeVar
awesome.
would never do it.
It
LeVar would never do
It
it.
would be so lit, though.
You know, MJ would be down to go out there. and
Yeah,
just
of
score
course,
For
of
5
I mean,
minutes.
he would probably just look at him and be like, "Are you
fucking
kidding me? I
kidding me?
can't
Yeah,
even lift my hand."
Are you for
because
fucking
there's
real?
So many
What's up
rings
with you,
on it."
man?
Yeah. And that's with me taking a couple of years off to try and play
Yeah,
baseball. Go
right.
Tim Tebow before Tim Tebow. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, don't get me started on fucking Tim Tebow.
You mean copy Deion Sanders?
Deion
Well,
Sanders
no,
is
because
a
Deion
goat.
did it more successfully.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah, Tebow
That's
is in minor leagues, and so was fucking
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember when he hit 2 bombs in like his second spring training game, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, Tebow's coming to the fucking majors." So that was what 4 years ago.
Yeah, but it's also the Mets organization. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So he could be an all-star
There
prospect.
you go.
Stop.
Hey, we talked about not having
Stop.
anyone to trade for Lindor. You got fucking Tebow, bro.
Yeah,
dude,
Treat him
he's not
hashtag
coming,
Timmy.
dude. He's not coming. He's not coming to the Mets. It's ridiculous. It's such a stupid rumor. Watch me get proven wrong.
Let's hope. For
Anyway,
your
back to
sake.
the NBA. That
Yeah.
derailment there, Jesus.
All right, we'll pick up with the 4th pick. That was Patrick Williams, forward out of Florida State. People don't really know. He's one of those guys that always seems to come out of Florida State. We had it with Jonathan Isaac a couple years ago with the high ceiling, low floor, because they've got great potential, but their basketball fundamentals just aren't really there.
Look at Double using industry terms. I'm so proud of my boy.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I told you I got my fucking dick out for the draft.
I feel like no one's fundamentals are there though with this system, dude. Like, go to college and get some tutelage under these awesome coaches if you're gonna go.
Oh my
If you're not
God.
gonna go straight out of
Nah,
high school. Like
nah.
that's the
well,
system.
I would love to go. I would love if they brought.
And
the high
Meech
school
is
back.
dropping words like tutelage. I'm so proud of my boys right now. You guys are you're on fire right now.
on
I wouldn't go
fire.
too far.
I'm gonna go too far with your mom. All right, Double. What's the next one?
Ohio.
Isaac Okoro, not he went to Ohio. He went to Cleveland Cavaliers, picked up Isaac Okoro. Look at that fucking transition.
Holy shit!
Seamless.
You're welcome.
Isaac Okoro, forward for Auburn. He had 13 points per game, was named to the second team All SEC as a freshman. One of the guys I liked coming out of the draft the most. All right, this one's gonna be fucking tough. I've been looking at it all night. Onyeka Okongwu, center out of USC. He went to the Hawks. There was a little bit of rumors. I haven't checked it since we've been recording. But right before we started recording, there was some chatter that the Celtics may have been interested in trading for either him or Clint Capella for the Hawks. Need a big man, so I'd be all right with that. After that, we've got Killian Hayes, the first international player off the board, point guard from France. I mean, I don't count LaMelo Ball as fucking international. Killian Hayes, 19, point guard, France, went to Detroit. Derrick Rose had a good season there last year, but he's aging, and the new Pistons GM, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, he's made a focus on injecting youth into this roster, and hopefully Hayes does that. After that, we've got my favorite player in the draft, Obi Toppin, power forward, Dayton player of the year last year. The Knicks pick him up here at number 9, and I gotta hope for New York's sake. I hope they got a superstar here.
For sure. I mean, you hate to see him whiff over and over again, but like most New York teams, they're just not great.
Hey now, let's relax.
Just taking shots at Birdie this
Yeah, I'm fucking
podcast,
getting
but-
dragged this week, and you can't do an intro for me that's like, hey, I love you, man, like I did for you last week, you fucking asshole.
I love you, bro.
Thanks, man.
But Obi Toppin. Speaking, just
Ain't no
saying,
stopping.
like since the tourney was cut short this year, he's one of the few names that I recognize because he was in the tourney last year, and so it's kind of it was good to see that because I don't follow basketball a ton, but I usually hear names in the tourney, right? So last year you had John Morant, for example. You knew he was a big deal. So it's like you follow these names in the tournament. We actually saw one come to fruition right now with Obi Toppin. It was a name I knew, and I think a lot of people were in that boat. They were just happy to see someone's name they knew other than the Ball brother, of course.
Yeah, that's fair. This draft didn't have a lot of huge names, household names that the last few had. But yeah, Obi Toppin, I like that pick by the Knicks, and I hope he works out.
I doubt it. The Knicks are like arguably the worst run
And
organization.
he
in
also
professional
plays
sports.
absolutely zero defense. So that
I mean, I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just saying like the Knicks are like, in my opinion, like probably the worst run professional sports organization like in America. Like I can't think of one worse. Can you? I really can't.
Washington, they're up there.
They're up there, but are they really worse than the Knicks? Like, look at like all the shit like the Knicks have technically had,
Why?
and
what?
still fucked up.
After our fucking jersey list on Sunday's show, we might have to make a worst run professional sports organizations.
Yeah. Or maybe let's make a list of, okay, we could either do that or we could do like one where it's like, are there any sports organizations? Let me just ask you this now. Are there any sports organizations in America that you think you could actually run better than they're being run?
I mean, I think most of the country thinks they could do a better job in certain hot spots. The Bengals, example.
Right.
I mean, they're bad. Washington Football Club. I mean, give me a break. And then the Knicks, I think, are all up there every year on some of the worst run organizations.
Yeah. What about the Jets?
How well run is like water polo? I might be able to run that pretty well.
I don't know shit about water polo.
I don't know shit about water polo.
Big
either,
water
does
polo
anybody?
guy in the Olympic season coming up.
Yeah.
After the NBA season, actually, we'll talk all about it. Big Olympic guy here. More of a Winter Games guy, but
me too.
Big Olympic
Winter Games are the
me
best.
too. Yeah, Winter Olympics, like they destroy the Summer Olympics, but the Summer Olympics are still dope. So yeah, we're definitely
just
gonna be
not
talking
as
about
cool.
that.
Like snowcross, dude. Oh my god, that's like our childhood. I feel like snowcross is so epic.
And dude, like I remember I heard one time. Sorry, we're getting derailed here, but I gotta share this with you. I heard one time somewhere, probably like Top Gear or something. Like, what's the one where they ski and then shoot the gun? What's that one called?
Oh, it's the biathlon.
Is it the biathlon? I thought it was the biathlon, but I didn't want to sound like
biathlon.
an idiot. I sound like an idiot already anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
I heard one time that they
Decath.
You definitely didn't say that right.
Nah.
I heard
If
somewhere
you were in
that
any danger of sounding like an idiot, Double just saved you there.
yeah, thanks, Dubs.
Got
Yeah,
your
no,
back,
I heard that like when they stop to shoot the gun, they actually have to time the shot with their heart rate because like it'll throw off their aim. People are probably I don't give a fuck, but to me that's like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. Anyway,
I'm sure
it
there's
definitely
plenty
makes
of
you
people.
respect them more as athletes. I feel like.
yeah, because
I don't know.
it
There's
looks-
people that can shoot guns out of moving cars and hit people. So
Jesus Christ,
Right, but not with that precision aim. I mean, they're
they
hitting
die.
bullseyes.
Did they die?
Are you reporting a murder? sir?
There's been a murder.
a
There's
murder,
been a murder.
a purple bargalam.
The purple bottle.
Yeah, for the people out there listening, if you ever want a good laugh, ask a Scottish person to say purple burglar alarm. It's fucking hilarious. Any other stuff with the draft, Dubs?
The 10th pick was the Wizards. They got the Holy Grail, Donny Avdaja, small forward out of Israel. I made that nickname up. I think it's pretty good.
When Josh Rosen was the starting quarterback for the Cardinals, I named my team the Shalomi Homies after I picked him up.
The Chosen
really
Rosen.
hoping- Yeah, well, I mean, we all know I have a crush on Josh Rosen. I would love to see him as the backup of the Eagles. I still think he's got it.
And then I got one more thing for the draft, and that's a complaint.
Okay, what's the complaint?
the Celtics had 3 first-round picks and Gordon Hayward to move. Granted, the Hayward situation was a little murky on draft night. I don't think they technically could have traded him on draft night, but they had weeks before. They did fucking nothing.
Right.
I sent out a tweet today from the Stone Sports Podcast Twitter account, just saying, please fucking trade. Please trade up.
Oh yeah, I saw that shit.
I would have been happy. Just trade up.
Oh, it's
And they
funny.
fucking didn't.
It's funny because about 2 years ago, I feel like Danny Ainge was talked about as the best GM, and I feel like it's just been a gradual descent the last
Shut
few
the
years.
fuck up. Do not besmirch that man's name.
I mean,
All
I'm
right.
just saying. I mean, you hit them up today to try and make a move for him, and you have the greatest GM, so you would think he would do that.
I didn't say greatest. I said do not besmirch that man's name. I didn't say the greatest.
All right, guys, listen. We've agreed
But-
all show.
I want one more point in here, Birdie. I was leading up to it before Meech interrupted me.
Yeah, go for it. Floor is yours, Dubs. Floor is yours.
Celtics did, however, at pick 14, get the best shooter in the draft. That is Aaron Neesmith, guard out of Vandy. He shot 52.1 from 3-point percent or from the 3-point line last year in college. And you know me, I love shooters, not the active shooter kind, not the gay space kind, but the Steph Curry, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen kind, and that's Neesmith, 52.1.
All right. Well, you agreed for most of the show. It got a little contentious there at the end, but that must be the weed wearing off. So next show,
I need to reapply the high.
yeah, please do. So next show on Sunday, we're gonna do the jersey ranking. So everyone get ready for that. We're probably it's gonna be a raucous time.
I
And
meant
that's
to do it this week, but just too much to talk about.
yeah,
man.
we can't control the news. So
My dick was too out for the draft for it to be out for the jerseys. I'm going to come ready to play on Sunday, and you guys are going to get absolutely dismantled.
we'll fucking see about that.
I'm going to put
Dubs.
on a technician.
a what?
I'm going to be a technician with my
You want to try that one again?
with my jersey pick.
Maybe the
Like I
weed isn't
said.
wearing off. Maybe the weed isn't wearing off. All right. Well, that's
the issue.
that's gonna do it for us this week on, or at least this episode on Stone Sports. Thanks for listening. Follow us on all social media. That's YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and what's the other one? Instagram. That's the one. I'm an old man. It's all Stone Sports Podcast. Anything else you want to say, boys, before we go?
All episodes will be posted at 8 a.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Meech, any last words for the citizens of the world?
Nah, man, I'm good.
All right. We're out of here. Say goodbye, boys.
Peace.